Welcome back to the Brew Bowl. We've got the third of 4 NPC summary games from round 8 of the Brew Bowl here for you today. This one will be the Glumhof Guardians versus the Skraevold Butchers. I believe at the start of this game, the Butchers have a chance of getting through to the finals, depending on where the other player teams end up. But let's have a look at how the game went. So, for deployment, the Guardians win the coin toss and decide they will receive the ball in the first half. The Butchers' kick is fantastic, with the ball appearing to come down right in front of their own line, with the cage preventing a potential bounce out. However, a sudden gust of wind hits the ball right before it passes the cage top, and it's blown out of bounds, resulting in a touchback. The Guardians give the ball to their thrower, Thilo Schultz. Guardians turn 1. Not wanting to give the Butchers any free blocks, the Guardians form a cage a few steps back from the Butchers' line. Thilo Schultz sets up in the middle with Aristai Schiefer and Ludwig the Ogre forming the front of the cage. Humphrey Newmark and Mongier Onyx might move to the other side of the pitch in case a pass is needed to get the ball out wide. Butchers turn 1. Sigwulf, Bloodice, Relvaith and Hilvold all move in to mark the cage and prevent a run by the Guardians thrower. On the other side of the pitch, the Butchers Journeyman and Onzake Grimcleaver mark Humphrey Newmark, while the Cleaver blitzes into Mongier Onyx Might. The Troll Slayer goes down stunned, with only his 6 goals saving him from a knockout. The Marauder lineman Ruin hangs back to play safety, though it's clear he's keen to get into the mess of players. Guardians turn 2. Ludwig the Ogre knocks back Hivold, stunning him. Helmut Pothast comes in to support Aristai Schiffer in blocking Relvaith, although they only knock him back. With Relvaith now in the open, Thilo Schultz blitzes through carrying the football, knocking Relvaith down. Humbert Oshner comes in to provide defense for Schultz. Butchers turn 2. The Cleaver starts out with a block on Humphrey Newmark, which knocks the blitzer down and out. This gives the Journeyman an opportunity to foul Mongier Onyx Might with assistance, stunning the Troll Slayer. Ruin and Onzak Grimcleaver then blitz into Thilo Schultz. They can't knock the thrower down, but they can knock him into the cage wall, which does their work for them. Schultz goes down, and the loose ball ends up in Humbert Oshner's hands. Relvaith gets up to mark the ball carrier, and Sigwulf knocks Aristai Schiffer down. Guardians turn 3. Once all the Guardians players that can stand up do, Humbert Oshner has an opportunity to blitz Relvaith out of the way. He can't knock the Marauder down, but he does knock him out of the way, giving him an open field to dodge into for a chance of scoring. Oshner's dodge, though, is badly timed and he's tripped up, with the ball coming loose. Butchers turn 3. Onzake Grimcleaver slams into Thilo Schultz, pushing him into the cage wall again, this time stunning the thrower. Sigwulf Bloodice delivers a similar treatment to Helmut Pothast, though the Guardians lineman is only knocked down. The Cleaver blitzed into Ludwig, knocking him down and stunning him. Only one Guardians player is left standing. Ruin grabs the ball and runs it to support the Butcher's Journeyman in delivering another foul to Mongier Onyx Might. Though even with their combined strength, they can't break his armor. Guardians turn 4. Humbert Oshner gets up and runs into Mark Ruin. This gives Onyx Might a risky block opportunity which pays off, seeing Ruin go down to the ground and the ball coming loose. With the remainder of the Guardians players either getting up off the ground or completely hemmed in, there's no opportunity to go after the ball. Butchers turn 4. The Butchers continue to use the cage wall to great advantage, with Sigwulf Bloodice once again knocking down Helmut Pothast, and Hivold knocking down and stunning Aristai Schiffer. The Cleaver then delivers a foul on Ludwig. Its claws tear through his armor, and Ludwig's game ends with the Ogre being carted off the field to the injury bin. Ruin gets up, and Osnak Grimcleaver blitzed into Mongier Onyx Might, stunning the dwarf yet again. The Butcher's Journeyman comes in to mark Humbert Oshner. Relvaith then grabs the football and starts to run down the field with it. Guardians turn 5. Thilo Schultz gets up and attempts to dodge past the Butcher's players in order to lend some support for a blitz, but he trips while sprinting and knocks himself out. Butchers turn 5. Relvaith moves to an untouchable position right in front of his team's touchdown line. The remaining players proceed to knock down every single standing Guardians player, though no armor is broken. The Cleaver even fouls Helmut Pothast again, with help from Hivold and Sigwulf Bloodice, but can't get through his armor. Guardians turn 6. Hoping to lure the Butchers into making a mistake, all the Guardians players stand up. Humbert Oshner attempts to dodge away from Ruin, but is tripped up, and the Guardians' play ends. Butchers turn 6. Wanting to do as much damage as possible before scoring, the Butchers proceed to have Sigwulf Bloodice once again knock Helmut Pothast down before several players gather around to give the Cleaver the most powerful possible block against Aristai Schiffer. Despite all this assistance, when the Cleaver strikes, it somehow ends up going down at the same time, and a turnover is called with a half ending, with Relvaith yet to step across the line. This costly mistake means that both teams go into halftime with no score. Deployment. Humphrey Newmark wakes up, but this only leaves the Guardians with 5 defenders as they kick to the Butchers. Rabid Khorne fans then storm the pitch, tearing through the cage. Humphrey Newmark, Helmet Pothouse, and Aristair Schiffer are all mauled and end up on the ground stunned as the ball comes down in the Butchers' half. Butchers turn 7. The Butchers forego their blitz, instead ordering the Cleaver to use it to advance up the field. Despite the temptation of carnage, the creature fails to understand the command and stands its ground, roaring at the sky. The remaining Butchers players move up, with Relvaith delivering a foul to Humphrey Newmark with assistance from Onzake Grimcleaver. They penetrate the Blitzer's armour, but can't worsen his injury. Hivold picks up the football and takes a position in the middle of the field. Guardians turn 7. With only 2 players capable of doing anything, the Guardians exploit an opening left by the Butchers' line. Humbert Oshner blitzes through and knocks down Hivold, coming over the ball himself. Monge Onyx might also block the journeyman, but can't get him down. Butchers turn 8. Hivold and Sigwolf Blood Ice surround Humbert Oshner, then call for the Cleaver to blitz him. The Bloodspawn having none of it, however, and stands angrily waiting for someone stupid enough to come close to him. With the blitz wasted, all the Butchers can do is deliver a block from the journeyman into Monge Onyx Might with assistance from Ruin. This knocks the Troll Slayer down. Then Onzake Grimcleaver attempts to foul Helmet Pothouse with help from Relvaith, but can't breach Lyman's armour. Guardians turn 8. Humphrey Newmark and Aristair Schiffer both get up and dodge away from the Butchers' players before each marking one of Sigwolf Blood Ice and Hivold. This allows Humbert Oshner to blitz into Hivold, knocking him down, and the lineman has only open field in front of him. He runs towards the touchdown line and decides to sprint for extra distance. On his first step, however, he loses his footing and goes down, losing the football in the process. Butchers turn 9. The Cleaver finally wakes up and blitzes into Aristair Schiffer, knocking the lineman down hard enough to end his match with a bad injury. This frees up Sigwolf Blood Ice to run over to Humbert Oshner and foul him. The blow results in Oshner being stunned and the football marked. Onzake Grimcleaver blocks Helmet Pothouse and stuns him, allowing Relvaith to run back towards the football. Guardians turn 9. Humphrey Newmark attempts to dodge away from the 2 Butchers players surrounding him, but he can't get away as he's tripped up and goes down, ending a fast play for the Guardians. Butchers turn 10. Hivold goes back to mark Humphrey Newmark, and the journeyman runs over to assist Onzake Grimcleaver in a foul on Helmet Pothouse. Their combined efforts, however, cannot breach his armour. Relvaith moves down to gather the football, but he fumbles the pickup and the ball remains on the field. Guardians turn 10. Humphrey Newmark gets up and blitzes into Hivold, knocking him back before sprinting down the field towards the football. Before he can mark the ball, however, he loses his footing and goes down. Butchers turn 11. Concerned about Humbert Oshner, Sigwolf Blood Ice throws a powerful block at the lineman. Bad luck, however, results in both players going down, and the Butchers' play ends early. Guardians turn 11. Humbert Oshner gets up and Humphrey Newmark blitzed into Relvaith, knocking the Marauder down and stunning him before gathering the football. Monge Onyx Might attempts to block Ruin, but only succeeds in moving along the sideline. Helmet Pothouse attempts to dodge out of danger, but fails and goes down. Butchers turn 12. The Cleaver blitzed into Humphrey Newmark and smashes him into the cage wall, badly hurting the Blitzer. The ball comes loose and is bounced around as several players try to catch it, before it finally comes to rest on the ground next to Humbert Oshner. Onzake Grimcleaver fouls him at Pothouse with help from the journeyman, and they stun him. Concerned about what Humbert Oshner could do with the ball, Sigwolf Blood Ice makes a terrible decision to try and dodge towards the ball and pick it up. The cumbersome blitzer is sent to the ground by Oshner, and great luck for the Guardian sees the ball bounce into Oshner, who picks it up with no Butchers players marking him. Guardians turn 12. Not willing to make the same mistake as the Butchers in the first half, the Guardians have Humbert Oshner walk the ball in uncontested, and as a final whistle is blown, the Guardians take the game 1-0. So there you have it, another NPC game. This one resulted in obviously a loss for the Butchers and a win for the Guardians, which means that both teams were therefore out of the finals contention even before the PC teams have played. So this is the last time you'll see both the Guardians and the Butchers in this season, but maybe we'll see some more of these teams in the future seasons. We've got one more NPC wrap-up game to do, which is relevant because it is 2 teams who are both, well, one's already guaranteed a final spot, and one could also guarantee themselves one with a win, or potentially still get through with a loss, but much, much harder, like other teams to do what they need as well. So one last game to go. We'll have that for you the next day or so. and then we'll start talking about the quarterfinals and moving on with the conclusion of the Brew Bowl. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.